teach you angles. I don't know how to explain lighting angles and
hey, peace.
shapes. And
What's
faces.
happening?
Ain't nobody here.
Yeah, I say one person is on. Unless that's your device. All right. So how you feel?
Like maybe I wrote too much stuff down.
Peace, y'all. Peace. I say. Una corrector.
Peace.
What's going on
Peace
on this love and life?
Oh, don't forget to announce the winner for the post. That's what it's supposed to be. I didn't want to forget.
Okay. Y'all give us 1 second. Did you put it in?
No. Grand evening. I like that. It is a grand evening. This angle right here, this camera though, is not grand at all, y'all. But it's cool. It's the Virgo and the Libra in me. I be real focused on angles.
Salute Widow.
I know y'all know what I'm talking about.
Widow gang. Bronze Flat Power King. What's happening? Peace,
where y'all chiming in from? We know some of y'all is fellow Memphians up in here. Well, it's looking like, speaking of which, Memphians. Y'all, we got a lot of information we finna try to pack into an hour. So it might go a little fast, so moderators just help us. Because whenever we talk about religion, that's usually when we get the trolls. So if y'all could just help us get through this. Hopefully we won't have that issue tonight. So thank you to the moderators that's already on here with us, because we're going to need you tonight. Peace. Yes. What's up, Murte? I was just showing Ernest the picture that you posted of Anubis over the earth. I literally just showed him that.
Yeah.
We're going to show it tonight too. So yeah, we appreciate your channel.
We coming in low on the volume.
Okay, thank you. This thing right here. It might be because the speaker. I really don't know.
It's the volume.
Oh, okay.
There we go. All right. How's it?
Angle.
Is that better? That should be good now. I think it looked like it turned all the way up. Can y'all hear us?
This thing been acting crazy, so it's a possibility that y'all still can't hear us. It's still low. It's weird. Yeah. Hold on, let me see if I can do something else to help boost the sound.
Okay.
Cool. Hear every word. Make sure the Bluetooth not on out there.
Slightly. Okay.
It's this thing right here though. You have to use the button right here.
Oh, okay.
Just make sure it ain't trying to connect to something. It's still low, y'all.
It's decent. It's decent. Okay.
Well, we're gonna make it work then. We're gonna just talk loud.
Right. The volume all the way up. That's crazy.
Okay. We're gonna have to get another device.
Yeah. Okay. You hear us, Dave? Dave, look. Okay. All right. Peace to you, man. Okay.
So. Okay, good.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get a new device.
Tia Castile.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get a new device.
Ashe, thank you. Janet.
Peace
to
Janet.
you. Yes.
Slide on in here. Y'all sliding on. Come on, creep on in, cause I'm telling you, it's gonna be
okay.
Okay, good.
We'll project loud, no problem.
Yeah, he said they can hear us now. Okay, we've been taking a ride. Act like it's 8:22. Peace to everybody in here. Hopefully, we got a chance to shout everybody out. If we did, peace to you, love to you. Whenever you were watching this, if you were watching a replay, thank y'all for joining. I'm Casting the Oracle.
And I'm Ernest.
And we together are Remnants Gathering, aka
Weirdo
Gang Gang. Tonight's show, oh my goodness, I didn't even know what to put in the title. Remember last week, I couldn't put a show together. Then this week, I couldn't stop putting the show together.
Yeah.
So, that's the energy of the divine feminine. It's always moving, it's always changing. So before we get started, we want to call on our ancestors and our angels, our spirit guides, just stand in this space with us to hold this space sacred, that there will be no communication that is confusing, but there will be clarity, there will be guidance, there will be healing coming forth in this conversation and real enlightenment. So with that being said, Ashe. Ashe to the ancestors and your spirit guides. Y'all got to remember, the unseen spiritual realm, oftentimes we have more help than we know just because we've been blocked out from having that access. So it's just really good to start anything off that you're doing, by doing that. So, yeah. All right, so we're going to get right into it. I want to show y'all what happened today. Just so y'all see how the synchronicities be happening so beautiful.
111 on the 11th.
So, yeah. That's 11/11 energy. That was a good sign. They kind of set me off. I was like, oh, it's going to be one of them kind of days, one of them shows. So we just go roll through it. If it's anything that we talk about in here, because I mentioned this, like if it's something we talk about in here and y'all like, you know what, we need to do like a webinar, or can we like really chime in on that topic and have a live chat, Q&A or whatever. We open to do that. We're ready to do that.
That's the plan.
And we got the platform now that we feel like will suit us being able to do that up to 100 people. So yeah, that's the plug right there. So here we go. You might want to take notes because it's gonna go fast. But I promise you, all the information that we bring you, you're gonna actually be able to use it in a practical way to get a desired outcome. Which is the whole goal. So, light code. This may not be light code for you, but it's good to remind ourselves. So, wherever the sun is positioned, that is equivalent to our Christ consciousness, the higher consciousness. And it's also equivalent to the present path that we are on. Now, the Bible, aka Helios Biblios, which is the book of the SUN, the sun, and the Son of God, or Christ, is actually a representation of the same energy. So this is the energy of awakening. This is the energy of Kundalini, climbing up the 33 vertebrae of the spine. Okay, so the sun also rules the day. The moon rules the night. I'm going to read a lot of this because I wrote it. And, it's going to be easier for me to just read it to you as it was coming to me. Now, the sun represents the things that we are conscious of existing in our lives. And the moon represents the things we are not conscious about in our lives. So the sun is your consciousness, the moon is your unconsciousness or your subconsciousness. Moon is divine feminine energy or toxic feminine energy, and the sun is divine masculine energy or toxic masculine energy. So as twin flames, I mentioned this, we have experienced a lot of polarity lately, just movement with the planetary positions, and it's been testing us in some really unique ways. So we'll share more about that when we get into sexuality, religion, and the lower chakras. Now, for the astrology portion of the show for tonight, we use darkastrology.com, and we got onto them from doing the research on Betelgeuse. Not a lot of people talk about Betelgeuse or the energy that the Betelgeuse may cause on the planet. So this is why we're using this website. So the new moon, October 2020, it is best for shadow workers, bringing light, bread makers, people called Mary or Lucy, make you think about Lucifer. Remember the name Mary, Mary Magdalene, sacred whore. A lot of it is connected to the whole Megan Thee Stallion, WAP, and Tory Lanez things, but I'm going to digress and just keep going because that's another show for another time. We're going to have to do just a whole separate video on all of that. So the fallen angels, this is a good time for the fallen angels. That's us, y'all. You know what I'm saying? This is a good time for us. Singing, focus, I can't sing. I can't hardly ever focus half the damn time either. So it's good to know that the planetary alignment go help me to do that. This is a good time to deprogram your brain. This is a good time to tap back into the Zeitgeist documentary and see what you get from it that maybe you couldn't. Maybe you were in religion when that came out the way we were, so I'm sure a lot of it probably went over our head. This is a good time for leafy greens to be eating that. Always a good time to do that. Bird omens, that's significant because I saw a raven in a meditation and a dream, so that's interesting. This is a good time for loving sexual unions. This is a good time for erotic bonds. This is a good time for travel and trade and for liberating captives, which is so good because that's what we intend to do, discussing the lower chakras and sexuality later in the show. This is a good time for sewing, marrying, and sending messages. Not a good time for, this one was kind of weird, but it's not a good time for vampires. I didn't know it was ever a good time for them, but that's what's up. It's not a good time for Botox users. Okay, you might come out looking real funny. Don't go get that right now. It's not a good time for processed food. It's never a good time for processed food when you're awakening because your body is going to reject the hell out of that shit. Okay, it's not a good time for lavish cake eaters. Downfall. This time is not good for the exile. So all of the people who are being summoned to court and the tribunal and this is not a good time for fallen angels, which is strange because it said it was a good time. Now saying it's not, so just let you know shit can go either way for you. Not a good time for adulterers, procrastination, being totally out of touch. Okay, and it's just, this is Picatrix. When we're talking about what is a good time for or not, there's not so much so astrology. There's more so an ancient text of the Picatrix, which describes what is a good time for. Because of the time period it was written, you may see stuff like not a good time to clean your castle and stuff like that. So you just kind of have to translate it. So that's what that is based on the moon mansions, sacred astrology, geometry, and the alignment as above, so below. And we've talked about that before, but if that's new to you, that's something you can look into. It's a good thing to research. So speaking of Picatrix and speaking of mansions, which is something not a lot of people talk about in the woke community, we don't hear it a lot, which is why we like to talk about it. I'm gonna let you pick up because it's just a read through from this point. The new moon in October.
The Libra Decan 3. The new moon, October 2020 in Libra, is extremely sensitive to the collective's emotions. That means those touched by this new moon can adjust themselves to suit their audience. The success of the fixed stars here brings even more likelihood of one being able to tap into the zeitgeist. The October new moon has great business sense and is able to capitalize on this greatly. However, as far as dignity goes, the moon has no real power in Libra Decan 3 and even feels quite uncomfortable. At some point while the moon is here then, there could be a danger of someone or some group falling out of favor and of even being placed in exile.
We see that happening with the indictments, with all the celebrities and politicians. All right.
In my research for Moon 3, for Libra Decan 3, I did final literal cases of exile. Look up Wallace Simpson, Wallis, and also cases of downfall after great status. And an example of that is Marie Antoinette. In Libra 3, the moon is defined as peregrine. When a planet is peregrine, it is essentially in exile. So the status of an outlaw or anti-hero fits this new moon very well. So you go keep seeing them push what's going on with Cardi B husband, what's going on with Tory Lanez. You know, they. This decan in particular shows strongly the archetype of Eris or Venus Lucifer as the morning star. Remember that, because I can't wait till we get into this, but both of their damn names point back to the morning star, day star, Lucifer, light. Can't make this up. Will Lady Lucinda shed some light on the confusion in the world right now? The 13th lunar mansion is quite an erotic one. It was used to make love spells for sexual attraction in medieval magic. It is also the only lunar mansion that deals specifically in curing sexual dysfunction. Talismanic image, separate images of a man and woman tied together in bondage.
You see why they wanted to play up the divine, feminine, masculine representations against each other.
6 important factors. 1. It will take place in the Libra decan 3. Brilliant white intellect and shadow workers. 2. The new moon will be on Spica in the weak shaft of Virgo. 3. The new moon square Pluto. Number 4. The new moon opposite Eris and Mars retrograde. Number 5. The new moon takes place in the 13th lunar mansion. At, I think that's Al Awa, the wings of Virgo. And then number 6, the new moon tarot card is the Four of Swords.
Now, the Libra energy right now, even though I do tarot cards, I really don't do the major and minor arcana per se. So even I have to look stuff up. I'm more of an intuitive reader, clairvoyant reader, and medium. And I just literally just jumped straight out the gate doing this. So I had to look this up just to be sure. The Libra energy may need our attention to mental health. And typically, Four of Swords, you can use that to kind of pick up on something that's going on about your mental health. And we have been dealing with a lot of that. So karmically, the Four of Swords carries a very real warning of the consequences of not taking care of your mental health during stressful times. If you are coping at present, then this card suggests that you are close to the edge. And if you do not take the necessary steps to take a break, then it may very well be forced upon you. It warns of potential for mental breakdowns, medical care, and even hospitalizations. And that source is based on teachmetarot.com. So right now with the energy coming in, you can feel it. We all feel it. You know, your mental and emotional instability has made itself very known. If you're going through the awakening, most likely you're having this happen too. This is just part of the energy. So yeah, we could get into that another time too. But just to say, knowing that you are codependent, knowing that because of codependency and fear of abandonment and things like that, and being raised by narcissists, experiencing trauma, sexual trauma, all forms of abuse, all of these things, the reason why on a collective level our mental and emotional health is coming to the forefront is because we a lot of us have not paid attention to that because of spiritual bypassing, because of certain cultural things, because a lot of us were raised that all you had to do was pray and everything would be fine. And now we're having to come off an automatic and drive sticks and be manual. And you have to control every damn shift of the transmission of your Merkaba, your soul, and the ascension and descension that you are experiencing. And so, yeah, Ernest could give y'all 1,000 examples of that because his shadow aspects of that, man, been really coming up, and it's been triggering aspects of my own mental and emotional health. So I hope this is helping y'all. True, that's what's up. I wrote this light code, so I'm gonna read it because I don't know if I wrote it how I intended to write it. And yeah, but the light code that I got. So to be given one book, and I'm gonna talk about slaves right now because a lot of us are descendants of slaves. Okay, so we have to bring it up. But this was the light code that I received right after meditation, and I was like, yo, like late last night, early this morning, it's like I gotta share this, okay? So I'm gonna sum up some stuff for you, and then go kind of get into this. So to be given one book as slaves, to read one book, and to believe no other book can offer you guidance for life, and the afterlife is proof of enslavement far beyond what we even can comprehend. To have the ancestral wisdom from having things like the Library of Alexandria, which had more books than we can perceive, and reject that knowledge is choosing ignorance. Though you know you have free will, you are incapable of making free will decisions. To only believe the Bible, or we'll just say one book, because for some people it may be the Quran, for some people it may be the Torah. To only believe the Bible or any other one book of monotheistic religions is valid, proves that there is a fear of what may be found outside of that book. Because if it makes you question what you've been taught, then you'll be accountable for the decisions that you have made in your life. But if you only read one book, in this case, a Bible, Torah, or Quran, then you'll have an excuse to use in the afterlife for the ignorance that you willingly chose. So you see how we all have to do an overview when we die. And for some people, spiritual bypassing means not even getting into what's outside the book.
Right.
It's too much to deal with.
Yeah.
And so this affects what happens in your afterlife as to what one book. If you stay stuck in that one book, you probably gonna have to come back and do it again.
And so much so, just to add, so much so that even when you come out, and because there are so many different levels to the transformation of you evolving through your spiritual journey, sometimes it gets so overwhelming. Some people just say, you know what, this too much. Let me just go back to something that was more controlled. Yeah.
Right.
Some that it was at least a blueprint that was set forth
And
that you could follow.
Familiar. So this will cause instant reincarnation of the soul, which will be more like hell, because you were offered an opportunity to have true enlightenment, but you turned away from it to embrace a lie. So then, and it's funny that in religion, though, they teach that everything we talk about is the lie. So then in death, you realize the lie, but now you have amnesia as a baby, and you have to do it all over again. Who's to say those years as a baby that you're not having the thoughts and fully aware that, damn, I'm back here to do this shit again. And before you can start talking, you know, like you can't even communicate it, but by the time you start learning how to talk, the amnesia has fully kicked in and you don't remember. That's frustrating. And I even wonder why some babies that cry a lot, maybe it's because they know and they like, God dang.
What's that? That's the self-realization.
Them babies be, if they could talk, they'd be like, look, man, I just got out the reincarnation line. That whole light shit, don't you take your ass into the light. It's a false light and a real one.
Yeah.
Man, I went to church and I did everything I thought I was supposed to do, and I got to come back to this mofo again. I thought I was going to get my mansion.
Yeah.
And the mansions in heaven is the Picatrix and the alignment and the astrology we just talked about. The Bible is astrotheology. So when we were talking about mansions in heaven and religion, we just expressed to you the mansions in heaven and how they are impacting you. So the Bible or any other monotheistic book is the ultimate shackles. It is the ultimate shackles that snare those who refuse to experience anything outside of that book. Just like the elephant chained to the tree, but the keys are right beside him. The fear of the unknown or the belief programmed with trauma, it stops the elephant from even trying to get free. So if people are still in religion, it's because they choose ignorance. They have free will just like we do, and they can ask questions to lead to the truth. But if they refuse to ask questions, then the ignorance has become bliss, and you better not take away the illusion of bliss, because they feel this is a threat at their very beingness. It's like taking a bottle away from a hungry baby to give them solid food. If the baby isn't ready at that point, the baby is not going to have the competence to chew and then swallow.
That's right.
So they may choke, or even worse, they'll eat the solid food, but without teeth to properly break it down, it will go down undigested and cause pain and suffering, and may even be regurgitated. And so this is what happens. This is why you should never try to force somebody to wake up. You know, you have to leave them in the machine. You know, and you know the machine is the machine. You know, but we Neo.
Yeah.
So, we see the matrix, we see the entities, we experience this. So, ancient spiritual practices cannot be expressed to people too soon, okay, or it can be harmful for them.
Right.
So, one must have the spiritual teeth necessary to digest the spiritual food. Sometimes what's true to one may liberate one person, but what's true to you may harm someone else's livelihood, mental and emotional health. Some people only have mental and emotional health at the level they do because of whatever it is that they believe in, even if it's not accurate. And you don't want to shake that up. You know what I'm saying? I have had opportunities to share stuff with people, and my ancestors and my spirit guides to be like, don't do that. They can't handle that. Don't do that. You will ruin their life, you will ruin their marriage, you will ruin their career, their job, whatever. So this is just using discernment, y'all, okay? Because the mental health is going to be a big issue. We want to use discernment. So my ears just started ringing. What the hell? So we perish for lack of knowledge, but we are reading one book and claiming to know everything. This was the mindset that we were once in. So this is why it's so important to do the soul work that we talk about doing, so that when people have matured, they'll have a blueprint for their own journey, from the journey that we're now on, to self-realize, actualize, and deify. All right, so twin flame soulmate lessons this week. We're gonna try to keep that part brief because that can get very extended. I'll let Ernest pick it up because we went back and looked the last time our birth signs, our sun signs were opposite of each other. I went back and looked at it and was like, wow, we still working on that stuff. You know? So, yeah.
Now we give each other sacred space to release our most negative emotions, self-defeating thoughts, and unhealthy habits and patterns. We must be co-creators of comfort for each other.
That's all of us, y'all. Twin flames sometimes is people in the same tribe who share a lot of similarities, not always romantic and things like that.
Let go of the need to be right. Surrender to the need to be authentic and honest. Being authentic and honest will invite unconditional love. The need to be right leads to deception, lying, and frustration. The need to be right empowers the ego. The need to be honest empowers our higher self. Accepting the ugly things about yourself will only happen when you stop trying to be right. An example here, if a child throws a tantrum and you don't feel like it's right, it doesn't matter if you're right or if they're right. They need you to be present, compassionate, and a co-creator of comfort. Sometimes the need to be right disconnects us from the moment meant to create the deeper bond. I experience that all the time, because I just was brought up in and I'm gonna keep it real brief, but I was brought up in the fashion of, you're the child, I'm the parent. The parent's always right. You know what I'm saying? Even if they wrong, they still right because they're the adult in the situation. So you do what I tell you to do. And so with that program and coming under that program, once I was a parent, that was the same thing because it was done to me. So that's natural that I would deal with my children the same way. Like, no matter what I say, it could be something as simple as picking up your toys. The child will interject something else, and initially, because of how I was brought up, even that response alone can trigger, oh, you being disrespectful, or you being hard-headed, or I told you to put those toys up. You know what I'm saying? And so that in itself is something that has been challenging in dealing with it. You know what I'm saying? And so just looking at it from the standpoint of being able to let go of the need to feel right. You know what I'm saying? There have been times when things happen, and like even today, example today, our baby said I was rolling my eyes at her. Well, intentionally I wasn't rolling my eyes at her because actually I was holding my phone close to my head and I was listening to a video. And you know how I guess when you multitasking, me not paying no attention to her, it looked like I was rolling my eyes. And I was like, I'm not rolling my eyes at you. Well, I dropped the pencil out of my pocket. That was one incident. I dropped the pencil out of my pocket, and then she said, "You dropped your pen or you dropped your pencil," and I reached to grab it, and I think her response was that why was I acting a certain way? And in my mind, I'm like, I ain't done nothing. And so that was my response. My first response was, what did I do? What did I do wrong? Was actually my first response.
Yeah.
And that's right there an example of what we're talking about. That there is always the idea of right and wrong. It's either it's right or either it's wrong. And so in dealing with that situation, I'm learning, and Cam continually helping me to see it from that perspective. Like, no, it's not a matter of whether it's right or wrong. You know what I'm saying? It's just a matter of being present in the moment. And so how she expresses herself in the moment, let's be tender to that.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily about righting and wrong, because learning is more of a dance. With our children, as being conscious parents, it's more of a dance. You know what I'm saying? It's more of a it's like giving them a life preserver and allowing them to be in the water a little bit. You know what I'm saying? They in the water, they got their flotation device, they got on a life preserver, and you got your hand on the rope, and you let them only get so far. You know what I'm saying? And then we're able to bring them back.
But you have to first be self-aware. Yeah. And so, you know, what happens is, for some of us, the way we responded to the abuse was we became numb, we became disassociated. And so being self-aware was too painful. So we completely compartmentalized our childhood and even, you know, growing up as adults and some of the experiences. And so what happens, these are, and I had to remind her, she was like, what did I do wrong? And I was like, it's not about wrong or right. Like, when you come into spirituality, this is why we can do an invocation with an angel, but then do an invocation with a primordial divine feminine energy that comes to, you know, bloodthirst like segment when there's injustice on the planet. To be able to go into that mindset to see the benefit of both light and dark energies, you have to integrate yourself and be whole. And so those things that occurred that he was discussing it was coming through in micro expressions. So as he's listening, she talking, and it's like getting on his nerves, and so he don't even know he doing it. The way that I responded to the trauma from my childhood was by becoming hyper vigilant. And so I explained to him, she was like, you know, Dad, you must be tired, you know, and why I gotta be tired? I mean, what make you think that? Why are you saying that? And so I was like, well, babe, the way she's reacting to your wounds and how they show up, she's learning how to read energy. She's learning how to read emotional cues so that she don't upset you, so that it don't have to be negative. Children don't like negative energy. You've never known a child to be just loving negative energy to the point of manipulating everybody in the house to make the energy negative. Children at that age just in a state of perfection, and be honest with you, and innocence. And so I really do believe that whether you believe in karma or not, the laws of the universe are a fact. And what happens is when you re-traumatize your children, or anybody's children for that matter, what happens is you create an energetic cord that is not going to be beneficial for you or good for you. And how you treat certain groups of people depending on age, innocence, health, things like that, yes, it does have a different outcome. It's like if you knock a child in the head versus knocking some dude in the head you got into at the club, it's a whole different thing. So I told him, I was like, she's trying to learn how to read your cues, because you don't communicate. He shut down his throat chakra, and there are a lot of instabilities in that area from his own wounds. So we are on complete opposite ends and our children are like mirrors of us. So she is empathic. She's very psychic, and over 70% of communication is energetic. So he would say things like, "What did I say? What did I do? I didn't do nothing. I didn't say nothing." And I'm like, "It's energy. Children read energy." And so this has been this part of this and going through this awakening. Yeah, it's definitely been a wake up call, and so I'm sure that some of y'all can relate to these things. So some of the things that we do to co-create comfort, and you can use this all by yourself with yourself. Soul gazing, that's something you can do. Looking in the mirror, it's also called mirror magic. Words of affirmations, yeah. Having affection, and not for you couples, having affection, but not even having an outcome, not even having an intention set to have sex. Just holding that space and being sacred and expecting absolutely nothing is another way to cultivate comfort and learn how to self-soothe as you are going through your wounds and your core trauma wounds expressing themselves as you are self-realizing and actualizing. Number 4, acts of kindness without expecting anything in return is a really good way to deal with these things. Number 5, to have a disposition of selflessness. So it must be an intentional practice to develop this to be a natural tendency. The more you do it, it will become like second nature for you. And remember, this is a good time to reprogram your subconscious mind. So this is a good time to press in with this.
Yes.
I'll let you pick up with the Mayan calendar.
The Mayan calendar.
Oh, and some of y'all might not know why we use this. The Mayan calendar is so important. It's the same calculations as the Ethiopian calendar as well. And these are accurate. They're based on 13 months, 13 moon placements within a year, and not 12. And so this is all frequency talk that we're about to be talking with you right now in regards to the evolution of humanity and being in the age of Aquarius and what that really means. So we're going to read to you some activations that you can use, and all you have to do is you can look up the Mayan calendar, read the wave spell. Wave spell is basically words to break the spell that we've been placed under in the 3D matrix. So because I see we got a lot of few new people here, that's why we're going to the Mayan calendar.
And so according to the Mayan calendar affirmation galactic activation, yellow magnetic warrior. Now the wave spell that is mentioned for the yellow warrior is intelligence, question, and fearlessness. I noticed I think I seen a comment where someone said that they question everything, and that is so true. We got on this path because we are the individuals that question everything.
Absolutely.
And so it says, I unify in order to question, attracting fearlessness. I seal the output of intelligence with the magnetic tone of purpose. I am guided by my own power doubled.
And this is something that you can repeat that throughout the day.
Like
and this is going to activate your light body and the things that's dormant within your DNA. And it's also going to push back the energy to be pressed on us to get us locked into the 3D matrix.
The gift of your cosmic identity is to be an antenna of cosmic forces, an agent of illuminated courage, a determined pathfinder, an investigator of underlying realities. As a yellow warrior, you have the capacity to embody the cosmic question mark, to wield the power of questioning in order to delve into the deepest truths and access a higher intelligence, to inspire yourself and others to question beliefs, viewpoints, habits, fears, limitations, cultural norms and values, etc. Also, to persevere through the quest of life with compassion as your shield and honor as your guide. To embrace and confront challenges and obstacles as sacred gifts that ultimately strengthen. To unify the three forces of mind, will, and spirit in order to pick up your staff of galactic empowerment. Fearlessness does not mean having no fears. Fearlessness means that you feel the fears, but you do not let them stop you.
That's what's up. So y'all see why this is like really a really good tool to use if you're going through the awakening. You know what I'm saying? And I just want to add this little conjecture in here. We're going to get into fear later, and we're going to express to you some metaphysics of fear in regards to children as well as adults, but mostly children, because a lot of us are dealing with our wounded inner child. And a lot of those things are coming through an expression with our children or siblings, those of us who have them in our families that we spend time with. But I want to say, like, I feel fear often. Don't think because we doing a YouTube channel, we doing this, that we don't. I had somebody mention this in a reading, and I was like, yo, I feel fear every time we do a show. I feel that energy come up, but I just push through it. And so, yeah, so if you're trying to get rid of fear, you know, it's not really getting rid of it. It's not really, just like we're getting rid of the ego. You're not getting rid of it.
Yeah.
You just learn how to work with it, you know?
Yeah.
So as far as the new moon that occurs October the 16th.
I know this coming up. Yeah.
We got 5 days. So we getting into the energy from every aspect that we possibly can to help you get through this. All right. So October 16th, 2020 at 8:39 p.m. Eastern Time. Now on Friday, the new moon occurs in the sign of Libra. Hey, my sign, you know, Libras, we kind of special. No, we're not kind of special. We special as hell. Yeah. Like in the best way.
We all special.
Yeah. That's true. But you know, every zodiac feel like their zodiac is the zodiac. You know what I'm saying? So the new moon in the sign of Libra starts a good cycle in which to commit to personal goals that express the positive energies of the sign of the scales. We have a chance, and this goes back to the picture. Thank you for the donation.
Sister.
Thank you, sis.
Yeah.
May this return to you 36 to 100-fold, whatever it is that you need. Ashe. Oh, and
we supposed to be doing some stuff.
That's true. Yeah, we got to link up. But I was gonna say the energy right now too. It makes it difficult to give your money to. It makes it difficult for you to release money up under this energy. I forgot to mention that. And so yeah, it's interesting that I saw the donation pop up right when I was thinking. I'm like, dang, I forgot to write that down.
Yeah.
But that was another one of the things that is difficult under this energy right now. So you may find yourself clinging on to your money tougher than you usually do. It's astrology, you know what I'm saying? It's the energy. So back to the new moon. So we have a chance to build our negotiating skills without compromising our principles, without compromising our needs, and without resorting to appeasement. It's time to rebalance our relationships and recognize our partners as teammates rather than adversaries. So y'all look, with this energy, we all looking for a villain under this energy. We're looking to make somebody the villain. We're looking to make somebody the adversary and somebody wrong. And for those of us who, for those of us who came through religion, we were so fixated on right and wrong, good and bad, light and dark, Satan, demons and angels, that even now you still have some of that come through where you would literally create a narrative and cause your children to be the adversary. You know what I'm saying? So with this potent Libra energy, we have a chance to make crucial changes in our lives. Some of Libra lessons involve learning to make peace with those around us and in our environments, establishing a sense of order and balance in our lives, and recognizing the value of partnerships. This is a good time to work on these skills. Libra has an innate ability for and love of synthesizing opposites. This is so true. Peace and harmony are the goals, but there's a delicate balancing act involved along the way that requires some commitment and effort. This new moon brings fresh and creative energy into our lives, and more specifically into our relationships. And this includes your relationship with yourself. So I know even as I'm reading this, my mind first goes to my relationships with people outside of me. But as we're reading this, think about the relationship that you have with parts of yourself. All right. So it says this is a cycle in which balancing our close personal relationships becomes an urgent desire. Negotiations may be especially useful as we are inclined to assert our needs in ways that do not offend others. Even so, there are obstacles and opposition to overcome due to challenging aspects happening at the time of this lunation. And the route to peace may be a conflict-ridden one. For those of you who avoid conflict and you have caught yourself doing that under this energy, it's not the way. literally is knocked away. So practice. This is why Kundalini yoga, breathing exercises, men learning how to create chi, generate chi within your body. All these things are really good to do, because the reason why we avoid conflict is because of the childhood trauma and even the experiences as adults. And it's just hard for us to deal with the frequency of conflict. Conflict is not always bad.
Yeah.
It can be very useful.
Be that energy.
Yeah. Okay.
This new moon is involved in a tense configuration as it opposes retrograde Mars and squares Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn. Blocks to our goals are likely, and we're likely dealing with re-emerging challenges from the past now. Note that the Sun's opposition to Mars only occurs at the midpoint of a Mars retrograde cycle, and this lunation forms a trine to the North Node, suggesting we're ready to learn and grow through situations, blocks, and challenges. Venus, the ruler of this new moon, opposes Neptune, indicating that we're battling overblown expectations. New beginnings with relationships, negotiations, or contracts can be fraught with some difficulties before we can move forward.
And so that's kind of like that moon energy, that unconscious, subconscious energy. Flex, I saw that post up, like you usually get in between people, but he basically came in with that balance in Mayan Libra energy to try to resolve a conflict at work.
Okay.
So that's what's up. Like this is the time for us to practice doing these things and stepping outside of what's comfortable for you. You know? So this week the Sun is in Libra, and the Mercury is going to be in Scorpio, and Venus is going to be in Virgo, and Mars is in Aries. This is so interesting, and this shows you that you really do plan your life before you come here. But of course, my sun sign is Libra, my rising sign is Virgo, and my moon sign is Scorpio. So this is like got Cancer and wrote all over it. So I got a lot going on right now, and it's a lot of energy to try to balance and maintain. And then this right here, he just got Mars, Aries all through his chart, and a little bit of Libra, because his ascendant sign is Libra. So it's funny how we play in this lifetime together. Thank you for the donation. 555. Ashe, yes. May that return to you 30, 60, and 100-fold. Blessings, thank you. So here we go. Let's get into the sun energy. Remember, this is your consciousness. This is like, the masculine parts of you, whether it's toxic or healthy. You know what I'm saying? So the sun is in Libra from September 22nd to October 22nd. Libra rules relationships with others as mirrors of ourselves. Meeting others halfway, compromise, and negotiation come under the rule of Libra. The focus is now on balance, finding balance and harmony through relationships with others and through art. That's so important. Libra is the sign of the peacemaker. However, life is not always peaceful with Libra in its attempt to restore balance. Decision making can be more challenging while the sun is in Libra. Libra weighs both sides of any situation, and sometimes this process seems endless. I promise I'll be up all night long weighing both sides of our situations. I'd be determined to find some solutions. I'd be like, I bar none. You know what I'm saying? Like, Yeah. So, you go pick up.
Yeah. Right. In Libra, the sun is concerned about not rocking the boat and not rubbing others the wrong way. Tactfulness, style, tolerance, and sociability are some of the key words for Libra. On the shadow side, Libra can be self-serving, indecisive, passive-aggressive, and superficial. Mercury is in Scorpio from September 27th to October 27th.
Did you say September?
September.
We can't talk tonight. Look, yeah, I'm telling you, when we be going through these shifts and you find your ass can't say simple words like September, it ain't you. It's the energy. And you probably having a multi-dimensional experience. And they go back to the light language though. Your tongue be wanting to say other stuff because your higher self knows that this language is bullshit. And so when we go through these awakenings, you'll find yourself just making up words.
Yeah.
It's September. I like that shit though. That's something your great auntie be saying. Reach around there and giving that calendar so I can see it's September.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, nah, that's funny though. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Day.
Day
Where you
come
been,
through.
Day?
Yeah, we've been missing you, sis.
Yeah.
May that return to you 36 to 100 fold, sis. Yes.
All right. And so Mercury is in Scorpio from September. I'm gonna say it right. September 27th to October 27th, and then November 10th, December through December 1st.
See, it's the energy.
Man.
You might as well go and speak in tongues, baby.
I would say I can talk to you. It's crazy. I'm like, When Mercury is in Scorpio, our thoughts and communications are more probing and intense. While Mercury in Libra urged us to find balance and to arrive at fair solutions, Mercury in Scorpio instinctively knows that life simply isn't fair. Mercury in Scorpio seeks truth in all that is hidden and uncovered. We tend to probe, observe, and focus our thoughts under this influence. Looking for motivations, the more deeply buried, the better satisfies an intellectual need now. Our thoughts are profound. We throw away superficial manners of communicating in favor of deep conversations. Scorpio is extremely sharp, profound, and analytical. Thinking is inclined to be one-track minded, focused, and even obsessive. Venus is in Virgo from October 2nd to the 27th. This is a time when we express our love through practical means and gestures, running errands, doing detail work, or just being there for our lovers. Love needs to make sense and have a purpose with Venus in Virgo. Virgo is an earth sign, which is sensual, but also quite practical. Besides our romantic natures, what we decide to buy and the types of entertainment we enjoy during this cycle are ruled by whether or not things make sense. We could easily feel guilty if we are too self-indulgent at this time.
I struggle with that, y'all. Yeah, it's crazy.
Rendering services to others can feel a need and can be an expression of love. The shadow side of this position is being overly critical of our partners, picky, or fretting. Mars in Aries, and that's from June 27th to June 27th, 2020 to January 6, 2021.
That's a long time for Mars, the planet of war and aggression, to be in Aries.
It's been a long time.
That let you know what the election finna be like. It's just crazy.
Yep. This is longer than usual due to the retrograde of Mars from September 9th through November 13th, 2020. Mars feels at home in one of the signs that it rules, Aries, and therefore its power is boosted. Our energy is spontaneous, forward-looking, and even courageous under this influence. Our competitive spirit is well developed, and our goal is to win. We are active, single-minded, and confident. Our actions are direct. We instinctively find the fastest way to get from point A to point B.
That sounds like my driving.
The shadow side of Mars in Aries is a tendency to be impatient, arrogant, impulsive, short-lived, unreflective, and self-centered.
How many of them have you been in?
All of them. Yeah. All of them. Let me see.
And Venus is trying Uranus too, that's right. Yeah, October 9th through 10th. Did I almost trigger you to do the things I just asked you had you been doing? You see how quick it happened? I wish we could rewind this moment for the ones that watch the replay. Rewind it and go back and see what just happened. You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I told him, like, when you got with me, like, if you only knew. Because I already saw it. I saw the vision. I was like, you know what? We just gonna be transparent as hell. You know what I'm saying? And so we appreciate the child, appreciate the transparency.
Oh yeah.
It's not easy. It comes with a price, you know.
Yeah.
But it's necessary.
Yeah.
So Venus trine Uranus, October 9th through the 10th. So we lose our fear of taking risk at this time, and we happily embrace all that is new. So you probably just now feeling some of that energy where you got released from the fear of taking risk and doing things. You're like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead. You know, I need to do something about my credit. I need to go ahead, like you want to go ahead and face things. So this is great. And so we happily embrace all that is new, unusual, and out of the ordinary with regards to romantic involvements as well. We are ready to experiment, but not necessarily ready to commit. For you singles out there, just make sure you're doing it the right way. You want to be safe. And yeah, this is a word I'm not even trying to say though, because I was gonna say
I think it's sesquiquadrate.
Okay.
Sesquiquadrate.
Sesquiquadrate.
Yes.
Saturn. See what I'm talking about? We go and find the astrology that people don't be talking about. I don't hear people saying that one right there. But I thought it was interesting. So October 11th, there'll be feelings of isolation, of not getting what you really want, and of not being loved the way you want to be loved, and it can get in the way of pleasant relations with our partners. And so
has anybody been feeling that? Because that's according to today's energy.
Yeah. So to help y'all with that, because we know y'all, I feel it, where you feel like your needs, the person in your life maybe don't care as much about your needs as you would like for them to. And sometimes it's not even really because that's happening. It's a major issue. It's just the energy of the alignment happening. So we got some products. Y'all, we've been talking about the root chakra potion. We've been waiting, on certain phases and the charge and just the alignment to be right. So yes, we got that. We're going to show that to y'all. Y'all hold us accountable because I don't want to forget, So I'm saying it now, but we're going to show y'all the products. It's really, really dope. We're really proud of this one. We're proud of this one. It's something that you ain't going to find nowhere else. Guarantee that. And this will help you with all this energy and all this moving and all this shifting and changing and growth that we're being called to do. Yeah, it's going to help you with that. So the root chakra potion, this potion actually works for all three lower chakras, below the heart chakra. But root chakra was the focus because we've been talking about this for weeks and weeks and weeks. And so, yeah, because a lot of us under this energy, you're realizing how toxic your life has been in your relationships and things like that. And it just, I don't know, it just has a way of, and it don't feel good, It don't feel good.
Yeah, I be like, sometimes I be torn between, man, shedding some tears and like just kicking some shit over, punching holes in the wall.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because of the mix of energy.
And I'd be wanting, if I could just take his heart out of his chest and do surgery and put it back in, I would. But I have to allow his due process, basically. I have to be patient with him, and
that's the sacred space.
Yeah, it's just you to awaken to your divinity and to begin tapping into your sovereignty and disconnecting yourself from the indoctrination and the spells and the programs. You have to know how to manage yourself the way a god or goddess would manage themselves. So this is a whole new level of willpower, a whole new level of control, a whole new level of discipline, a whole new level of patience. And
but
so
that's being tapped into your goddess.
Exactly. You can't do it in your human self.
At all.
You have to be in that energy of your deified divine self to do that. And it's not easy. I have moments where I want to be my human self, and but it's just like, no, because I know I'm gonna have to do it again if I don't get it right. You just gonna keep repeating the patterns,
because that's what our whole union is about. It's to bring us higher. It's to cause us to level up, you know what I'm saying, individually, but because of the great responsibility we got together, you know what I'm saying. It's gonna majorly impact everybody that come through this experience with us.
Absolutely. It will. So this was the motivation for doing the root chakra potion and everything. Like, it was shit we've been dealing with, and I'm just like, we gotta have this.
Right. Right.
This is so but we go get into that.
And so
let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that will be. Oh, will? Okay.
It don't
Let's
matter.
talk about sex. It's so important.
See, we could. Yeah.
It's so important.
Yeah.
Because y'all, man, I'm just gonna say this one part and then I'm gonna let him read through it. Because I told y'all the show is gonna be packed with a lot.
Yeah.
So I know you feel like you're getting like 50 life lessons in 1 hour. You are. Because the way shit move, it's not waiting for us. And so sometimes we just have to pack it in like this because it just takes too long to get it all to you, you know? But let me just say this, the part that we want to get into on sexuality. If you got kids listening or you ride home and you want Bluetooth, you know, you make the decision how you want to do that. We'll keep it, you know, keep it cute. Yeah. But I was gonna say that I was laying right after I had finished meditating, I was thinking, and I was like, you know what, you know, because I had sexual trauma, and so I was thinking to myself, in actuality, to come out of religion and to come out of trauma and go into religion, it was weird for me to hear of a God who was watching what I did with my genitals. And I remember being young and being like, that's so weird. And I remember the very first time that this program started to take root in me, and I was masturbating, and then I was thinking like, oh shit, I'm finna go to hell. And so I was just like, forgive me, God, you know, I plead the blood of Jesus. I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to do that. And when you in spirituality and you look back at that, it's like, damn, so God is into voyeurism.
It sound weird.
Like,
it sound weird.
He a peeping Tom. But he's
reality,
watching everybody's genitals.
That's what it's saying. Yeah, that's what it's saying.
Like, that's sick. I don't even know what else to call it. And no wonder it's.
That made us think that he's keeping tabs more on what we're doing than we even keep tabs ourselves.
So your own body part, it wasn't even yours at that point. It wasn't mine no more.
Yeah.
My vagina no longer belonged to me. I could not, and that's sick, because that's a peeping Tom, that's voyeurism, you know. And then you're telling me this divine being is watching me, and I've had men watch me undress,
So
you know, and I
pics.
didn't know. I had them kind of experiences.
Yeah.
So that was traumatic. And like when I was asking questions, it was like, don't question God, you know. And I'm like, that just made me feel a little uncomfortable. Like, I ain't want to put no tampon in. It manifested in such strange ways where I would catch myself, and you know, and I would be like, dang, is God looking at me do this, you know? And I would feel uncomfortable. And now that I when I was thinking back on it, I was like, that's really terrible.
Yeah.
That's so terrible. So we're gonna get into this because we feel like a lot of the imbalances in our lower chakras.
It's from those.
Yeah. And even, let's just say you did not do the religious path. Let's just say you specifically didn't subscribe to that. You didn't go to church and you didn't have to. But if your family did, it's in your genetics.
Yeah.
And if you're in the culture, so it's in the air. It all touched us in some shape, form, or fashion. So
we're going to look at Christianity's possible root chakra effects.
Yeah.
And the disconnect from all the lower chakras.
So we're going to use lonawolf.com. We're going to use some of the things that they have talked about this, simply because we totally agree with it. And because we have written about this a lot ourselves, but I was just like, why reinvent the wheel? You know what I'm saying? Let's just present this to them in a way that we feel it was just very well written. So let's get into it.
Okay. Now you may be wondering why we are spotlighting and only shining the light on Christianity. After all, don't other religions create sexually repressed and twisted people? The answer is yes. Religions like Islam, Judaism, and even Hinduism do indeed distort sexuality. But due to time and length restrictions, we can only focus on Christianity for now. Also, I don't have as much experience with other religions as I do with Christianity. That's our story. So we think it's best for us to start with what we've had firsthand experience with. Put simply, Christian sex indoctrination is one of the greatest scourges of the planet. Now it's time to examine how Christian perceptions of sex influence us. Christianity and its corruption of sex has tormented, plagued, and afflicted millions upon millions of people throughout the ages. Since a young age, Christianity infects us with illness and gives us the imaginary cure. Because we're unable to think critically as children, we easily accept what we're taught. Being taught that there is an immortal, unconditionally loving God in the sky makes us feel safe and secure. And as children, we love this. As a child, I remember how nice it felt to be protected. But then, as we get older, we're taught that this God has special rules for us. Finally, in our teenage years, we're taught that God loves us, but he'll send us to hell if we disobey him. This place is described as being a blazing furnace where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. As our bodies begin to go through changes in adolescence, we're taught to feel condemned by our own sex drive. We're told that we must abstain from masturbation because Jesus is always watching us. We're warned not to engage in premarital sex and cautioned of the shame and horror that will befall us if we do. As young adults, we're taught that God's word, the Bible, is the absolute truth. Because we were conditioned since birth to associate God with wisdom, protection, and the bringer of salvation, we began studying the Bible obediently. I remember how much of a relief it was to have life all figured out, we thought. It was so nice to read God's word whenever we were stranded in a moral dilemma or confusing situation. I didn't even have to think for myself. We could just, quote scripture and be backed by the fact that it was spoken directly from God.
Yeah.
Soon, every thought, opinion, and belief was filtered by the Bible. This is a very effective method of brainwashing that many other Christians experience every single day. As adults, we develop something called the inner religious police.
Man, my inner religious police was off the chain. I'm for real. Like, I better not look and have any ideas, thoughts. You can't help what you're attracted to. You're attracted to what you're attracted to. Mm-hmm. None of us woke up one day and was like, I'm going to write down everything I'm attracted to and go get it notarized and make sure that it's enforced. It don't work like that, you know? And I can remember being like, dang, I'm a whore.
Person. Yeah.
I'm just a whore. I can't believe I was just thinking like that about him. Oh my goodness. Better not be a woman. Oh my goodness. I'm a whore and I'm homosexual. Oh hell. I'm gonna knock the bottom out of hell. So Sunday, I'm up at the front, laid out. I'm giving all of my money, gas money that I used to get there, trying to atone for myself.
For your
and I was just being human.
That's right. Yeah. That totally separates us from our nature. You know what I'm saying? Our nature is to always be attracted as men and women to the opposite sex. So anytime that
whatever sex it is, whatever worked for you.
Well, whatever worked for you. Definitely.
But the theory was, the main thing was, and I was telling Ernest, I was just like, as a man, I know that was a difficult space to be in for you too, because men are more visual than women are. Women, we feel with more energy.
Yeah. And
so it's just like, dang. So every time you feeling like you gotta repent 20, 30 times a day.
Every time you look at a woman and admire all there is to admire, is like,
quote a scripture.
Wrong.
I bet you remember one. Quote a scripture about looking at a woman and maybe something bad is gonna come.
Yeah, I can't quote the scripture, but
I remember the one that committed adultery in your heart.
Yeah.
If you look on a woman with lust, you commit. I remember that was the main one.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? If you think on a woman like that, you basically have had sex with her. That's what the New Testament said. So, I can't wait. We got so much information we want to talk about with y'all. Where we could do webinar after webinar after webinar and just keep going. Yeah. But I'm gonna say this real quick and let him finish, which is, how can sex be sacred to you when it's been demonized, unless it's within certain parameters and restrictions? That right there detaches even the awareness and consciousness that it's sacred.
Yeah.
And so even though we're on this path, we're still, sacred sexuality is still a work in progress.
Because you releasing a lot of the
programs, you know. So, and it's multi-generational. It's not like we decided to be in monotheistic religions. It was passed down. So epigenetically, it's multi-generational. So you know, there's a part of me, like, naturally, I have what I would consider a high libido that most women do. And, you know, it was just like I had to suppress that part of me for so long because I thought something was wrong with me. And so now, being able to see the divinity within it, it's still difficult. I still have that damn religious police that show up. They just pull up on your ass like the real popos do. Skirt, skirt. You know what I'm saying? They got their sticks out. They ready to beat your ass. You sit there like you just being critical of yourself, and you know, you can't even.
You can't live. You're not living.
No,
because you're so in some framework of belief and ideology or do's and don'ts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if you do this, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna be punished for doing this. You know what I'm saying? And don't do that. And so it just, man, as we always say, it just keeps you locked into a small-minded place. Very small-minded place. So now our inner religious police ensure that we stay obedient or enslaved to the dogmas and creeds of Christianity. And one of the scriptures, I think it's in Corinthians, but one of the scriptures that came to mind was about being bond servants to Christ. And I want to read this. I want to read this scripture because I'm gonna read this scripture.
With bond servants, you already got to say, okay. I read the mess out of that one. I want it to be faithful.
Right. Yep. Now, 1 Corinthians 7:22 says, "For the one who was a slave, when called to the faith in the Lord, is the Lord's free person.
Yeah.
Similarly, the one who was free when called is Christ's slave." Now, that was the New International. Now, this is the New Living Translation. And remember, if you were a slave when the Lord called you, you are now free in the Lord. And if you were free when the Lord called you, you are now a slave of Christ. Okay. All right.
You know, when y'all think about the word slave and master, you cannot separate that from slavery. I'm sorry. It's a part of our reality on this planet in this age. And just to, you know, when you connect all of these dots, you see why the music industry, entertainment, the Jesuits, the Roman Empire, you see the suppression of the divine feminine and divine masculine. You see how they just perpetuated just so much divisiveness and toxic energy between us. It's deep. It's deep.
So
and so, like, I haven't even made a pact with being free because I remember that, and I'm like, I was in that pact for so long, I didn't even know not what I was doing. We really didn't know. And so when you become a slave to something, that means that you have forfeited your free will. And so for some people, they don't have free will.
Man.
They don't have access to the free will that they really have because they've been given something else.
We turn it over.
Yeah.
You know, your free will is turned over, and I think that most religions have this tenet about it that once you are a part of it, then all of the things, especially everything that relates to individuality, you lose that. You lose your sense of identity to take on the identity of the collective or take on the identity of the archetype that's the head or the authority. And so the scripture that comes to mind with that in Christianity is to let this mind be in you that was also in Christ. So we then take on the mind of Christ. And so everything that he said or everything that is representative of Christ, that's the way that we supposed to think. That's the way that we supposed to act. You know what I'm saying? That it becomes now our lifestyle. And so
that's a horrible way to, and just think as children that was forced on us. A lot of people didn't have no choice.
Yeah.
You go get your ass baptized.
Mm-hmm.
You go into church.
Mm-hmm.
You go read your Bible. That's when you really look at it. Yeah, we are being atoned, like last week's tarot card, because of that. Because this was done to us as children. For many of us, we didn't have a choice. So.
Their job, and we're talking about the religious police, their job is to constantly filter our thoughts and feelings through the use of shame and guilt. Anything judged as not being biblical is locked out of the consciousness mind, out of the conscious mind and repressed into the shadow self. For example, a Christian man who has sexual thoughts about a woman is instantly arrested by his inner religious police. His inner religious police condemn the thought as sinful and infect him with guilt, shame, and the fear of punishment from God. Facts. This ensures that he continues to stay faithful to the laws of God. To remain as a righteous soldier of Christ, men and women alike memorize a number of Bible verses to keep sin away. And we had some examples. I know y'all have heard that it said, you should not commit adultery, but I say to you that everyone who looks at a woman with lustful intent has already committed adultery with her in his heart. This goes back to what we were talking about when you were talking about scripture in regards to looking upon a woman or a man in a lustful way. It says, if your right eye causes you to sin, tear it out and throw it away. For it is better that you lose one of your members than that your whole body be thrown into hell.
Go ahead.
But as for the cowardly, the faithless, the detestable, as for murderers, the sexually immoral, sorcerers, idolaters, and all liars, their portion will be in the lake that burns with fire and sulfur, which is the second death. And that's according to Revelation 21:8. Let marriage be held in honor among all, and let the marriage bed be undefiled. For God will judge the sexually immoral and adulterers. Hebrews 13:4. But sexual immorality and all impurity or covetousness must not even be named among you, as is proper among saints. Let there be no filthiness, nor foolish talk, nor crude joking, which are out of place, but instead let there be thanksgiving. For you may be sure of this, that everyone who is sexually immoral or impure, or who is covetous, that is an idolater, has no inheritance in the kingdom of Christ and God. And that's Ephesians 5:3-5.
Okay. It's too much.
Yeah.
So, as we can see, such biblical verses promote sexual avoidance, aversion, and terror. If certain kinds of sexual behavior can land you straight in Satan's lap, you better be careful. But as we'll soon see, being a Christian doesn't correlate with being a more moral person. In fact, in many cases, it actually does the opposite. Oh yeah, 43:43. Ashe.
That's what's up.
Yes. It says, if you lust in your heart, you committed adultery. The sole purpose of sex is to make babies. Jesus, God, is watching you while you masturbate. Women who have slept with multiple people are whores. Premarital sex is a ticket straight into hell. You're not allowed to be attracted to others, especially if you're married. Homosexuality and lesbianism is abnormal and perverted. Teaching children about sex will increase their chances of engaging in such acts. Pornography is from the devil. Teaching people about Jesus, plan of salvation will prevent them from engaging in unlawful sex. What the hell is unlawful? Women are temptresses and lead men astray. Never the other way around in the Bible. The only appropriate sex position is penis, vaginal, missionary. Anal, oral, and other types of sex are sinful. Celebrating sex is dangerous. Having lots of sex, that's inappropriate. Women should always be subservient to men. Yikes. And yet, in America alone, the most religious areas have the highest divorce rates. Not only that, but the highest rate of porn use can be found in the most religiously conservative states. And the statistics show 77% of Christian men aged 18 to 30 look at porn at least monthly. Think about the the statistic. Who? Where am I at?
Right.
Pick up.
Okay. 77% of Christian men aged 18 to 30 look at porn at least monthly. Think about that statistic for a moment. 36% of Christian men aged 18 to 30 view porn daily. Wow. 32% believe they're addicted to porn.
Yeah.
77% of married Christian men look at porn monthly. 35% of married Christian men have had affairs. Divorce rates are highest in the Southern Bible Belt of America. Evangelical and fundamentalist Christians have the highest divorce rates out of all Christian branches. Here are some other grisly facts. 93% of sex offenders describe themselves as religious.
That's true.
93%.
That's true. You watch the interviews of them, like when they get arrested and when they go undercover. That's very true. A lot of them do identify as being moral, religious people. Yeah, it's true.
In a survey of 6,000 pastors and the way they responded to Christian women experiencing domestic violence, 50% told the women that they should be willing to tolerate it to avoid divorce.
Yeah.
26% told them to continue to submit to their husbands as the Bible commands, according to Ephesians 5 and 22. 25% told the women that it was their fault in the first place for not submitting to their husbands. As for child abuse, the picture isn't pretty. Examining medical, physical, psychological, and sexual neglect in Christianity. Shaver, Bottoms, Goodman, and Quinn from the University of Chicago in California conclude, our study leads us to believe that there are more children actually being abused in the name of God than in the name of Satan. Psychologist Darrell Ray agrees, saying, one of the best predictors of child abuse and sexual abuse is the religiosity of the parents. The more religious the parents, the more likely are to abuse their children.
That's crazy.
Very.
That's because of the restriction and repression, and that's also because of the thought form of the egregore that was created over Christianity. And so you're always going to have the polarity of whatever it is that you're presenting. So like in Islam, a lot of men who are Islamic are actually homosexual. They marry, have children, but they're homosexual. They prefer to be with men. That's their sexual preference. So they're not bisexual. They're homosexual, but because of the religious teaching, they have women and children. And so a lot of the women are lesbians, and I get it, you know. So it just shows you the hypocrisy and the perversion, manipulation.
Definitely down through the epigenetics, actually.
Yeah.
Yep. The result of believing that there is an all-knowing, voyeuristic God who watches everything you do inevitably results in endless unhappiness. Where your natural born sex drive is the very thing that can land you straight in eternal damnation, you begin to resent yourself. Any deviation from missionary style, marital sex makes you shudder with fear. It's true. Your interreligious police officer constantly lashes you with guilt and shame every time you have a bad thought or lustful desire. Then, the more you repress these feelings, the more they silently grow.
Eventually, biology go we in that shit. That's true.
Now, look at that, and look at the patterns of if we've been in these things too long, then we got layers upon layers of misinformation, wrong practices, sexual practices and learning. Guess what? Being real closed-minded, being insecure about even experiencing some sexual openness. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
thank you, woman. Miss Love and
36
Light.
to 100-fold may they return to you.
And so we see how it is affecting our lower chakras. We see how it causes all of this from the root to be disconnected.
Yeah. And so it's going to be in relationships. In our relationship, like I can speak, this is the most sexually suppression, repression, depression, expression, oppression, every damn obsession, shun you can think of.
Right.
I guess from that shit being shunned, and now we in every damn shun.
Right.
It's crazy. And you know, I was just like, I don't know what's going on. It's weird. I'm kind of feeling none vibes lately. And I was like, that's, you know, I even went to the doctor, like, you know, is it something going on with me hormonally? I went to the acupuncture, like, what's happening? But this is just the process of clearing this shit out so that you can get to the point where sex is truly sacred. And to be honest, I cannot wait till we can do, like, full bills with y'all on this, because this is so important. Whether you single or not, you need to know this. Exactly. These are basic instructions, you know,
before relationships.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, a lot of people who come through religion, and then we're gonna push on. Let me see what time. A lot of people who come through religion think that they're having sex and they're not. What you're doing, right? Because if it's below the veil of consciousness, it's not sex. The very term sex denotes intimacy. And not surface level. It's levels to everything. So you can have sex and not have any intimacy whatsoever. For most of us, that's the kind of sex we were having.
Yep.
And so it was unconscious. You just didn't know, you know. When you learn about soul ties, you thought your ass was you thought you was a tantric practitioner at that point, because you like, I get it. Soul ties. And I remember when I first learned about that, I was like, yes. You know, and just to think it was so much more layered into all of that. And so this is a huge problem, because what happens even when you have children, just think about it, when you're making babies and when you have children and you under this program and this energy, like how is that affecting the souls of these children? How is that impacting the lives that is going to be in front of these children? And so I remember 50 Shades of Grey when it came out. I was still a Christian at the time. And I mean, this movie was a big deal. When I got to the movie theater, I didn't even see nobody in there who you would say was a witch, atheist, Satanist. It was like everybody I knew from church. And I kind of went in with my head low. I had on a hoodie, you know what I'm saying? Like, let me be discreet, you know, anonymous faces.
And 50 shades.
Right.
Nobody ain't gonna know.
Everybody in there was Christian, and I was so shocked. I was like, hey, girl. And she was like, girl. Then nobody want to speak to your ass. It's like, girl, hey, you know. Because we all look at each other like, you know, why are we wanting to see this movie so bad?
Right. We ain't supposed to be tapped in.
And it's really
not
sick.
me.
It
wasn't
sick.
up front, was you?
Right. It was sick. It was great, though, because I got to see, like, okay, it's so much more between sexuality and religion that I don't know. And that really opened my mind up so much more to, like, really perceive what is this that we've been mixed into. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, I can go on and on.
So now the more that you repress the feelings, the more they silently grow again. Eventually biology wins and you give in to the temptation and defile yourself.
And I must admit, that was some of the best sex when you knew it was taboo and you shouldn't have been doing it. But again, that's below the veil of consciousness. That's little kid stuff. Right. You know, it's good because you sneaking and doing it. You hoping God don't see, like whatever it was. The best sex that you had in religion was when it was taboo or wrong or you was cheating or, you know what I'm saying? So that just showed you that you were in something that was unnatural in the first place.
The more deeply entrenched your Christian sex ideologies are, the more repressed you become. Eventually, as your smothered sex drive rears its head with vengeance, you become more and more perverted.
Some people become nymphomaniacs as a result of religion.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So you can be
Pushes
hypersexual too.
Right. It pushes you further out there.
Right.
And then on the other extreme.
I was celibate for 5 years. Was one of the longest times of celibacy. I mean, I'm glad I did because I got to know myself really, really well. In that, and not being in relationships and having them dealings. But you know, it was something where I knew like it's something more to this, and you just couldn't put your finger on it. And trust and believe. If y'all get in that twin flame reunion romantically or soulmate situation like us, stuff that you thought you didn't have an issue with or do, all that come up. All of it come up. That's what the whole twin flame mission is to heal the sickness that has been attached to sexuality. So yeah.
Yep. Religious sexual repression is easy to spot. You can glimpse it in the aggression, rage, judgmentalism, gossip, secret affairs, obsessive porn use, and smothered up abuse within the Christian communities. According to the Bible, we become bond servants. Again, that's what we stated. How many times have we heard of priests molesting and raping children on the news? How many church elders have been caught having homosexual affairs? How many pastors have been revealed to be abusive towards their wives and children? To me, it's very clear that when our sexuality is not honored or challenged in the appropriate way, we become unhappy, congested, and at worst, abusive or perverted.
Yes.
The more we are made to feel like evil, damaged, and diseased people, the more we sink through the shadows, secretly indulging our primal desires. Now it's about time that we learn to see the ways in which Christianity controls and limits our ability to enjoy sex. It's about time that we come to terms with our sexual inhibition, frustration, and embarrassment. Sex is not something to be ashamed of. Now the contradiction there is that what we see the general thing is that sex is all about sex. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because on the outside of any religious system, sex is so celebrated. Sex is so
it's not demonized.
It's not demonized.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But only under the scope, or only through the scope of the religious system that you get all of that suppressed.
Yeah.
But when I look at people that are liberated in that way, you can see it. You can see how free they are. You can see how good it makes them feel. But then, you know what I'm saying, when I look at somebody that's still in the religious structure, it just looks like they're holding back.
Which
you know what I'm saying?
Which is one of the reasons church girls are the biggest freaks. But when you get out of church and religion, all of that dies.
Yeah.
You would just like that because of the repression that was being placed on you.
Yeah.
And it's just the way it works. And so so what we did was we infused a lot of what we just talked about with y'all. The practices that we use, all those things, we infused all of those experiences. And so we came up with the root chakra potion. Like I said, it's going to be good for all of your lower chakras. This is it. It's finally done. We've been talking about it for so long. It's finally done. If y'all could only, sometimes I let y'all see the process, but if you look closely, it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of herbs, Moroccan roses, like things that are imported. That's gonna have purity. I didn't even want the American. I was like, can I somehow avoid putting anything made in America in it? Can I get it from India? Can I, you know what I'm saying? Can I get some Moroccan roses? And so I've been just collecting and building and practicing potions and learning about herbs and crystals, essential oils, the frequencies of each oil. And so this contains 4 different essential oils. This contains so many different herbs. It's very, very potent stuff. And what this is going to do, this is going to help you to feel safe and grounded in the energy of Mother Earth. This is the intention and what went into this. So we actually infuse the stones, and you can see some of the stones in here from Sedona, Arizona, when we went there. And if you don't know about Sedona, Arizona and metaphysics, it is a vortex. And it's such a strong vortex that's grounded in the energy of the ground there that it causes trees to twist as they grow. Hence the term vortex. Yeah, we captured. Matter of fact, we got. You gonna put the footage up soon?
Okay.
Okay. We got footage. Like, we ended up leading. We went up into the mountains. Shout out to Luna. You know, that's our sister. You know what I'm saying, from another mother, so to speak. But she took us to experience a full moon ritual ceremony that took place in the mountains. One of the best experiences ever. And it was our first time hiking up a mountain together. You know, as a family, it was such a special moment and so
especially
sacred.
at nighttime.
Yeah, especially at nighttime. I had on flip flops. I ended up climbing the mountain barefoot. I mean, it was some real. My toes was just was like, you're not created for this. Your feet are really soft. Like, what the hell are you doing? But you know, but with that being said, it was a really great experience. And so we we were bottling up that energy to bring it with us, because we wanted for you all to not even have to travel there to have the experience. So this is what is in this potion. If you're wondering, like, what makes this potion special? You know what I'm saying? Because I know when people present stuff to me that's supposed to have spiritual uses, I want to know what makes it special, what makes it different, what makes it magical. And so this is what makes it magical. And so this is going to help you to feel more grounded. This is going to help you to feel more safe. If some of the issues that we talked about today, you realize that you have. If you catch yourself like having negative energy with your kids and stuff, like, oh, that's root chakra instability. You know, that's a wounded inner child expressing itself, and you like butting heads with your children because in that moment you're your 7-year-old self or 8-year-old self, whatever age you experience, you know, a certain level of trauma. You emotionally, you're locked there until you delve back into the lower chakras. So lower chakras they're not just energy centers. You can look at your lower chakras like kingdoms and realms in which you need to travel back into to rebalance and to heal. And so, especially, absolutely, we gotta go back. But especially, oh wow, that's what's up. They moving to Arizona this week. That's what's up, Jessica. Yes, sis. We got to come visit you next time we come back down there. Gonna be like, can we, you know, be weird and pull up, get something to eat. We home. But this is gonna help with that. And you know, we feel like coming into the holiday season, they use a lot of red. If you notice, in the holiday season, they combine it with a lot of orange. Thanksgiving, you know, fall energy. This is really a good time to focus on those lower chakras. And so, you know, your ability to feel confident in your body, regardless of how your body look, all those things. Even your ability to begin practicing sacred sexuality, it cannot be done unless you deal with these things. So I'm not saying you have to have the potion, but I'm saying the potion would definitely help a lot. Read the reviews on, you know, my potions before you buy them. Don't take my word for it. You know what I'm saying? That's why we allow people to post testimonials. And
thank you, T, for also putting the plug in to get some merch. We have some items that we are holding. We have some items that we've released. The season is changing. It's starting to get colder, and so we're gonna have some jackets. We're gonna have some more sweatshirts. Long sleeve shirts. And so y'all just definitely stay tuned. Visit that website, and we'll continue to put updates on it.
Yes, Renita, you already know. Like, when I tell you, I always knew that I was a goddess. I always knew that I was a goddess of love my whole life. And so when I make potions like this, it's really not new for me. I be saying it's new. It's not, because even when I was 5 years old, I would go and get spices and stuff out the kitchen, and I just knew what to put together. It was just really crazy. And you know, my family, my birth family, they like, damn, you can cook, you know, how you learn how to cook. And so this was just natural for me, being able to put my hands on things and feel the energy that's coming from it. And so, you know, Ernest will tell you, when I make these potions, you're not going to get mixed energy. You're going to get, there's only one intent, one purpose. And to make potions, you have to be able to streamline and laser beam your focus, your intent, all of your thoughts. Definitely have to control your emotions. I can't be making no potions and I'm arguing with him about something. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's not always that. Yeah. And then the second product we're gonna unveil tonight. We're so excited.
That's cool.
Because it's been taking so long.
Yeah.
I like that. Yes, Ashley.
Yeah.
So I'm laying in the bed. Let me tell you the story before he even let you see it, because y'all just gotta know I'm so happy, so excited about this. I'm laying in the bed, just got through meditating, and I realized that what I had been doing needed to be a product. And so that baby right there, we've been
unveil it.
Yeah, let's.
And so, you know, with that being said,
look at that. Too much energy. Just
too much.
It just jumped out of there. Didn't nothing touch it.
Didn't nothing touch it. With that being said, the stone, one of the crystal stones that we had been charging for a while, that directly, you know, it relates to helping to build up the root chakra and heal the root chakra, one being the fire agate. And we talked about this in a few videos back. And so what we did, we've taken the fire agate crystal and managed to infuse it in order to assist in healing the root chakra, but especially through your meditations, especially through dream time, sleep time. Ooh, and so,
we use
this will probably start to be a trend. You know what I'm saying?
But remember that we started. You know what I'm saying? Weirdo gang all day. We started this
all day, and so you want to put it on or what?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically,
I don't want to pull my eyelashes off.
Yeah. So
not right now.
So basically, you getting that good?
Yeah. And so this is the fire agate stone we've been talking about. This is the one that we've been charging over all of the phases of the moon that's been coming through, and just making sure this is the fire agate stone right here. And so having the fire agate stone right over your third eye like this is going to help you in meditation to be able to tune in to the energy of the root chakra. So even if you don't get the potion and you just get the eye mask, you're going to have extra help and amplified help with this crystal. If you don't know how to program it and cleanse it, we will tell you. We will make a special post for our products. But this is going to help you, for those of you all who have a hard time calming your mind and being able to meditate and just focus on one thing. This is going to help do that. Being in complete darkness, as you all know, that's where it is. You know, going into the darkness. That's the whole thing with shadow work, and this is a great time to be doing that. And so you're blocking out whatever light, artificial light that affects you, the blue light, all that affects your third eye. So this is going to block all of that out and allow you just to tap in. And so if you would like a meditation for this, we will even do that for y'all. Like, the love over here is real, you know what I'm saying? And so we appreciate y'all, and this is why we can do what we do. Without your donations and your support and y'all sharing us and helping us build our community, like, we couldn't do this. So this is where all of that goes. Yeah. Make you want to just go and lay down and meditate. This helps you to be excited about meditating when you got tools.
That's what's
up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, T. Yeah, she said, hey, I use my spiritual baths. Yeah, awesome.
The fire agates are very powerful crystals. I sat on this for a long time. It's like, which crystal do I want to use for the lower chakras? And y'all know we talked about it when we did the segment, the whole segment setup. We talked about the fire agate crystal then. So yeah.
But you know what, Flex? That's why it's on top. It's not even. It won't even be sitting on you.
Yeah.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not gonna be uncomfortable.
Right.
Yeah. And then if you sweat, ladies, you know, wear makeup, things like that. You know, sometimes I'm falsy with my makeup on. So yeah, we put the crystal on the outside. But you know, if you just would like to feel the crystal against your skin, you could always turn it inside out and still use the exact same way. Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. I guess we could pull some cards now, y'all. We took y'all on a journey. Y'all, I hope y'all enjoying this journey. We took y'all on with us because we knew today was going to be a trip. Literally. A trip into the root chakra and all the way back up to the crown. You feel me? That's what we be doing. That's what we about. We about that. About that getting their work in. You know, sometimes you have to infuse your own ego into this journey so that you feel you know, sometimes you just need to be like, I got this, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got this. I can meditate. Just change your language. If you've been struggling, if it's been hard for you, these tools that, you know, that we present to y'all is to help you get past that. But maybe you perfected doing these things. This will help take you to a new level too. So yeah, it's beneficial for people for different reasons. And then I was also gonna say I'm gonna go ahead and pull some cards for us collectively. Before we do that though, we do need to announce a winner for this month. And so we kind of base this on how active people are. So you want me? It was in a note, and I don't remember which one it was. Did we complete that whole note? I can just announce it. Soon as we get off here, you know, we go over to the website, and then we give y'all, if it's some links or something that we use for the show, if y'all need that, we do that. We do so much extra stuff because, you know, this, I mean, it is what it is. Our heart really is in this, like, real. But I was going to say, we're going to announce the winner. So make sure that you subscribe to the website so that you will know. And again, we base this on who's commenting, who's liking, who's sharing, who, you know, who's reaching out to us, sharing content with us, all of those things. So we will announce the winner. And the winner tonight is going to get the potion or the mask. You can choose whichever one that you want. So that's how we're going to do that. Yeah. So, I tried to catch that one, but it just flew. I didn't get to ask a question, you know. Goodness. Okay. Well.
That's the energy.
Yeah, I see what's going on. All right, so these just jumped out in the hand before I asked a question, but I was meditating on it. I'm thinking, like, for the collective, like, what is important for us to know? You know what I'm saying? If you feel like maybe you stuck in a certain cycle, maybe if you're wondering what's next for you, these are some of the things that I was asking the cards as I was shuffling and thinking about the intention that I was setting. And so the card that jumped out was to stay true and be in your power. That's this right here, to stay true and be in your power. That's our Lord Chakra work. You are a sovereign divine being with spiritual authority. The freedom, and you have freedom within. You do not need permission from anyone to be who you are and live your life as you so choose. This is your divine birthright. Guard it as the precious treasure that is, and remember that you are a divine being, free to be you. Is this not perfect alignment? We gotta stop trying to be other people and be like other people, and we even have to stop trying to fit into whatever concepts, programs, and ideas, you know what I'm saying, that we're raised in. Now, I also pulled the High Priestess, which is, you know, like, what communication from my higher self for the collective, and I pulled the High Priestess card This represents, this is what this is, a mystery is to be unveiled. A new clarity around your direction is unfolding. Be willing to wait for the full reveal, but also recognize what is happening at this time. You will be gaining valuable insight into where you are being led and for what purposes. So, it's some stuff that's about to reveal itself because your higher self knows that you're ready. So if you've been feeling tested, if you've been having a hard time controlling your anger or your frustration or whatever it is, your higher self is communicating something to you. And it's about to be fully unfolded. And the whole time tonight we've been talking about unveiling, higher level of consciousness, coming up or going down. Whichever one you need to do. Sometimes you need to do both. You got to go low to go high, you know. So the lower chakras, sometimes in the spiritual realm, we forget about those chakras and don't really think about how important they are, but they are very important. So yeah,
that's the foundation.
Yeah, absolutely. So those are your cards for the collective reading. I may do another reading tomorrow. Sometimes I do a pick a card. It just decide, you know, it's decided on like with my guides and everything, and how the ancestors want me to move. So I'm not gonna promise it, but typically I do that on Moon Day, Monday. And yeah, we go slide on out of here so we can get all of this stuff ready for y'all. Hopefully y'all don't hit us with too many orders too fast. We be like,
get overwhelmed.
Yeah, I be like, I want to make sure people get their stuff, babe. Babe, did you? And you know, we work together, live together, sleep together, eat together. That's is a lot of damn togetherness, and I know this shit was fun to you, but it's work.
We said that's a lot of damn together.
It is. It's work.
Yeah.
It's work.
Yeah.
You know, distance makes the heart grow longer, and so when you work together, live together, you do everything together.
It's definitely make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And speak. I'm gonna bust somebody out. I don't know who it is, but I gotta bust you out before we get off of
I
here.
also pulled out Priestess this morning. That's
oh wow!
awesome.
See,
Yeah.
Synchronicity.
You said you gotta bust somebody.
I'm finna bust somebody out because it just came to me. I heard it. I'm gonna say it. But for some of y'all, sacred sexuality is actually an area you've been feeling called to study and go more into. And maybe some of the stuff that we talked about, you're realizing that it's some stuff that's going on that's been getting in the mix. For a lot of y'all, the reason why you're still single, because it is meant for you to heal these things before you come into your union. At least one of the people in the union needs to have done the work. If neither of you did the work, it's definitely going to be an uphill battle the whole way. We have a lot of uphill battles, but it's not all uphill. You know what I'm saying?
But she started on the work.
Right.
She was the grounder.
Yeah. So whoever starts the work first typically is the one that's going to be, you're going to help the person you're in a union with, which is going to test you. It's going to test your patience, all of that. You have to have intestinal fortitude, and you have to, it's just a certain level of strength that you have to have when you're in union. So for those of you who want to be in union, just have to tell you, you're not ready to be in union yet, and that's okay. That's a beautiful place to be. So enjoy your singleness. Enjoy doing your shadow work. Enjoy doing your self-love. This is the perfect time to get it in if you're single. For those of you who are in relationships, you know, something we talked about resonates with you. We are getting to the point where we will be doing like, I guess like more like love-centered, twin flame, soulmate connection, bills and sessions with y'all, because you know, I mean, that's the mission we've been given. We can't avoid it.
Yeah, and it's not gonna be YouTube.
Yeah, it'll be a different platform. But we've been putting just so much work and effort and research and study, and we want to make sure that we're bringing things to you in the purest form possible. You know what I'm saying? You don't want no genetically modified AI, artificial intelligence.
All right, T. We love you too. We appreciate all you do.
Yes, thank you, sis. My mama said, "Don't tell no one." But yeah, so we hope y'all enjoyed the show tonight. Take your time wherever you are. Your process is beautiful.
It's happening.
It don't have to look like nobody else's.
That's right.
know that it's happening, even when it don't feel like it's happening for you. All of the different astrology points and stuff that we shared, I'm sure you were able to see like, wow, I've been experiencing that. So that's great. That lets you know that you're in alignment. You know what I'm saying? With the awakening. And you probably was unconscious of it. So you go do the work regardless, you know. But to be able to be a deliberate creator and do it is the goal. To be able to deliberately create and have the outcomes that you desire. Was that everything?
I think that was everything.
So we finna slide on over to the website. Our work is not done yet. We gotta go ahead and make sure we do everything we said we was gonna do for y'all. And thank y'all for y'all donations. Y'all like, share, subscribe.
Thank you for everybody being in here with us.
Definitely. And I want to show y'all Anubis over the earth. I said I was gonna do it before we got off of here, and I felt like I like when stuff like this come up because I'm like, you know, that's a lot of Ernest's energy. Mine's as well. Let's see if I turn it. Can y'all see that wolf or that canine?
It's like a.
You see the eyes, you see the teeth, you see the nose, you see the snout.
These are the teeth here. That's the eye, and this looks like a snout coming this way. Yeah. It's kind of like the whole little area right there is a dog.
Yeah. And so this is Murte who jumped in here. I don't know if he's still in here, but if you he came on here. He was the one that posted this. So if you want to watch the video, just type in Anubis over the earth, and it'll show up. But that's just proof that we're in the Mayan energy. We're in the energy of the balances. We're in the energy of Libra, and that Anubis energy. Okay, that's what's up. That Anubis energy is present. You know, watching the scales. And so this is why people are getting indicted, and this is why so much sexual perversion is coming to the surface regarding children and things like that. I was going to play the recording that I had. Yeah. Okay. Because we wanted to do a conscious parenting portion. Would it be too much for you to post it?
Okay, I just post it.
Okay.
Okay.
So
because it's about 15 to 20 minutes long. Yeah.
So there's a conscious parenting portion of the show that our intention is to do. Most of the shows we do live. We're going to post that on the website. So y'all will be able to go there and listen to that. It is really deep. You might want to take some notes or something. But I'm going to get into what we didn't get a chance to get into that we talked about at the beginning of the show, which was fear. And the parasitic entities that I attracted as a child because of the level of fear that I was radiating from myself, from my upbringing and a lot of things, you know, horror movies. There was a lot of different elements that went into this. And I'm going to go into some details about this. I'm going to give ways, you know, that can help you if your children are dealing with this, or maybe you as a child dealt with spiritual experiences that no one really explained to you. You know, and so it is really necessary for us to focus on things from the childhood and our own children, and what's happening on a collective level with children. The earth is not playing with people who've been taking advantage of children. I know y'all see it. And so they're not talking about it. It's not in the news. But all these cases in Epstein and Weinstein, it's still going on. The indictments is still going on. And with the pandemic going on, it's a good way to hide the people maybe who are being indicted, the people whose assets have been frozen for their participation either in Pizzagate or Pedo Allen, and it's stuff that we don't even know about yet, but it's all coming out. And on a new earth, you cannot do stuff to innocent children and get away with it. And so for you parents and stuff like that too, you know, just know that it's your job to heal so that you do not re-traumatize your children with your own wounds.
That's right.
And we're going to put that on the site as well.
Conscious parenting.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right,
so, man, y'all already know what it is. And as we always say, man, your third eye has just been kissed. Peace.